I am Michael Perlin, and I started out studying metaphysics when I was a child. I started picking up books that I found on the shelves in the used bookstore. I just found it fascinating, things that we were only told were myths as children, like Atlantis and UFOs and Bermuda Triangle, and I just found it fascinating that people were actually writing about truths that might be, that these might be actually real things. So I just dove into it, and it just led me further into metaphysics, and that taught me that there were great philosophers and masters in history that have been telling us for so long that there were so many things that occurred long ago, and that our civilization could go back even further than we could ever imagine, that we had advanced technology, that just advanced civilizations out there, so I really just got more and more deeper into it, and that led me to Eastern mysticism and world religions, and just looking for a common theme that I could put together and do something with. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And I did find that common theme, that all the masters and all the spiritual teachers were teaching us. And so I put together a film in my later years, because I just felt like okay, so if I'm reading all this material and I'm finding out all these truths, why isn't anybody else? And the answer came to me that I just needed to make a film about it. This was before the internet, so I knew that the best way to get universally to the masses was make a movie. And so that led me to make a film about it called Three Magic Words. It got very popular, and that led me to write the book, Fantastic Adventures in Metaphysics. So when I found the common theme of the spiritual masters and decided to make a movie about it, I started with a partner of mine, Maura Hoffman. We started getting all the people together that were very inspirational to us in the conscious community in Los Angeles and elsewhere. Some of the authors and teachers and speakers that were in the conscious community and that were very popular. Neil Donald Walsh, Debbie Ford, Gary Renard, some of the names. And we put them together, interviewed them. At the time, I was just living in an apartment in Marina del Rey, put a green screen on my wall and had them come in and just like this and interview them. And I didn't know really what the film was about yet. I just kind of asked them questions and why they were interested in what they were doing, and what was their purpose, what they felt like they wanted to give to society, and that kind of thing. And some really profound things came out, and that's when I knew I had a film. And so it was really just, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to try to make this, use the common theme that we know is true, and about spirituality, and it's all about, the theme I'm not going to say right now because you have to see the movie, but it's really what it means to be spiritual and what the difference is between spirituality and religion. And really, a lot of people really don't know this, and that's really strange to me. So that's what the movie's about, and that's how we started to make the film. We, halfway through the film, we completely ran out of funding, so I didn't really think it was going to get finished or how it was going to get made. And so for me, the whole time I did it as just pure enjoyment. I did it as a hobby. I did it on the side of my 9-to-5 job and my life, just for something to do. I needed something I wanted to work toward with my metaphysical studies, to do something with it. And so I set it aside, and I said, okay, well, if the money's not there and it's not going to come, I'm just going to start writing my book. And so when I started writing the book, and that took up my time, and that was my next activity. And during the process of writing the book, one of the guests in the film, Goodney Goodnison, asked me, how much do you need to finish the film? And the money came. So I let go, and I was unattached, and I wasn't disappointed. I just said, okay, I'll just put it on the side for now, and I'll pick up another hobby. So I would say, yeah, that was one of my spiritual lessons, was just detachment and getting my hands into something else to make the time go by. During the process of writing the book, I spent most of the time at a coffee shop. After work, I would go there and spend most of the evening until about 11 o'clock writing. And it was very interesting as all the people that I met there, and the people that would come and ask me, "Oh, what are you doing?" The information that I got from those people, and where their mind was in on the topic, and because they were curious, and we'd strike up conversations, and I would test them. They were kind of my guinea pigs. So I say, "Hey, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of pyramids on Mars?" and things like that. And so I could see what audience I had out there for this material, and where I needed to come at, what angle, what kind of way I should write the book. Because I wanted to write it for the masses, for everybody to understand in their language. I didn't want to get too deep and too technical. And so that was really helpful to me to do it, to meet those people. The book goes into all the historical evidence and facts and information that we have about civilizations that were much older than we could ever imagine. And some of it goes back hundreds of thousands of years, some of it goes back a million years. And we wouldn't have the information that was written down if it goes back a million years. So a lot of my research goes into channeled material, people that have gone into regression, and some of the very detailed works, such as the Keys of Enoch and the Urantia book. And I wanted to just dive into everything I could get my hands on to see what was consistent and what was matching other things. And it was very interesting what I discovered. There was a lot of interesting similarities and consistencies with what they were all saying and what happened at the very beginning and how we got here. And there's a lot of symbolism in a lot of the sacred texts. So, yeah, I studied the sacred texts from many cultures. I looked into their history, their legends of beings that came before them, who built these amazing structures that we can't even duplicate today, and they had no technology to do themselves at the time according to our history books, there's no way they could create the structures that we see today. We don't even know how they did them. I could go into all that, but so that goes deep into the book, goes deep into that, and really it goes into anything anybody ever wanted to know about metaphysics and spirituality and who we are, how we got here, what are the possibilities, and what that means for the future. There were many things that occurred according to the research, not just one. I mean, you have Zecharia Sitchin saying that we were genetically enhanced by Neanderthals by advanced beings. We have the Urantia book and Keys of Enoch talking about the Elohim, or the angelic, godlike beings or creator gods who came down and created humans from their offspring. We have all these other teachings that talk about similar things that happen at different times in history, 500,000 years ago, some 1,000,000 years ago or more, some couple 100,000 years ago, and some 5 to 10,000 years ago. So I think that there were many things that happened all over the world at different times. Then we have ancient Egypt, started 5,000 years ago and had the technology that they had. And then we have Atlantis and what happened there. And so I would not say that just one thing. That's what I think is the problem, is a lot of people that do this research, they just pick one thing that they really feels truth to them. They're like, this is what happened. And then you have conflicting information. No, but this is then how did this happen? And everyone thinks just one thing happened that created the human race here on this planet. Not so. And I think that's the reason we have so many different races on the planet, because I think there were different things, if you want to call them experiments, and they could be of a very divine intervention, and they could also be of evolution. I think both things occurred according to the research. We have both evolution occurring and divine intervention, and that I go deep into that and more into that in the book. I think right now that's what's going on the planet is we're coming into a finale, and it's the light against the dark. And I think we're at the very end of the dark age, according to the 26,000-year cycle that our sun travels through, called the Great Year. That so we're just coming out of this dark age now, and according to that model, we are going to finally come out of all this hatred and prejudice and war and religious sectarianism. And so I'm very hopeful for the future. And I think maybe we might have to see one last battle, and not physically. It might just be spiritually, and one last attempt of the dark side to take back what they're losing. But it's too late, because we're heading into the age of light, according to the Hindu model of the Great Year. We're finally going to progress once again, spiritually, technologically, and so we will find our connection again with each other and with the earth and with nature. And when that happens, we start advancing again as we once did long ago. And hopefully this time we'll hold on to it and not lose it.